And so the question is, how will emerging low-cost access to space transform both the role of government space agencies and the lives of ordinary people? First, I think it is important to start out by stepping back and discussing where we are as a human race. We are living in 2011. According to science fiction books of previous generations, we are currently living in the future. Unfortunately, we still aren't taking vacations to Mars yet, but what we do have are cellular pocket computers that are capable of communicating with virtually any person on the planet, plus this device holds basically the entire accumulated knowledge of our species via the World Wide Web. Smartphones are highly reliable and constantly falling in price thanks to outer space. Space travel, on the other hand, has not come down in price. Rocket science simply hasn't evolved with the rest of the technical world. Aside from the major advancements made in the 1960s during Apollo, the launch industry has pretty much been completely stagnant. For the last 30 years, America has been stuck using a partially reusable space shuttle, which is now finally being retired. A lot of things have happened over the last 50 years, though, that quite frankly didn't exist when humans first went to the moon on the Saturn V. Advanced supply chains have recently come into place just over the last 10 years. Computers and robots have both advanced substantially over this time period as well. Another important difference is that this space movement, Space 2.0, would be done privately, and mass profits would be made by certain individuals who invest in the right people at the right time. Up until this point, we have pretty much only used space for satellite communication and the very basic research conducted at the International Space Station, the Mir, and Skylab. However, I see a large increase in the amount of medical, chemical, and nanotechnology research that begins migrating into microgravity once we have low-cost access to space. Materials such as graphene, which was just discovered in laboratories as recently as 2004, could be optimized in new ways in microgravity. I believe that space tourism has a great deal of potential over the next 10 to 15 years. Ordinary people want to go into space, but they want to know that it is safe. Ideally, as reliable as taking an international flight from Houston to Hong Kong. Just a little more expensive because by going into orbit, you get to experience sports in weightlessness, along with seeing the actual curvature of the Earth and everything below. By lowering the cost to something reasonable, these people will someday get to experience space. The price for launches still needs to come down an additional order of magnitude or more, but they will, due to economies of scale, and that's when the torrent will really begin. Once celebrities and other high net worth individuals take televised week-long vacations to Bigelow Aerospace stations, our dreams of space will finally be a reality. Government space agencies can then begin focusing on more advanced technology infrastructure for safer lunar roundabouts, as well as publicly and privately financed lunar landings. And let's not forget that as popularity of space increases, appropriate advertising will be done on social networks and television so that ordinary people can become engaged. Living in a world in which ordinary citizens can afford to go into space is a future that we're all looking forward to.